Alright, severe thunderstorms. You know, these are fun to talk about, and sometimes they're fun to be in. But only 10% of all the thunderstorms in the United States are severe. Now, what does that mean? One of three things. So the first thing is that it has strong winds, greater than 93 kilometers per hour, and for those of us that live in America, 58 miles per hour. So greater than 58 miles per hour. It's pretty fast, right? Has hail, greater than 2.5 centimeters, which, as we all know, is approximately 1 inch, or it has a tornado. Okay, now those are one of those three things makes it severe, okay? But it can also cause heavy downpours, flash flooding, which is not fun, wind gust, hail, lightning, wind shear. It can do that overshoot. Remember we had the kind of the spread out when it hits the tropopause, and then it had that little part up above it that entered the stratosphere, and that can be there. And it might have a gust front, so it might be gusty before the rain actually happens, or the thunderstorm, I should say, actually happens. Because technically it doesn't have to have rain in order to be a thunderstorm, right? So here's a picture of probably a severe thunderstorm. Heavy rain, downdrafts. You have your gust front here, right? So you're not getting the rain yet, you're just getting that big windy part, gust front. You have your spread out at the tropopause, and then this part here is the overshooting top into the stratosphere.
Could be an extremely dangerous night ahead in the Midwest, right in the bullseye of this attacking winds that blow in straight lines known as a derecho. As many as 40 million in the danger zone as the system moves east with possible 75-mile-an-hour winds, 2-inch hail, and the threat of even more tornadoes. NBC's Ann Thompson has more on that.
The derecho stormed across the northern plains today. As this time-lapse video shows, it brought heavy rains to Cedar Falls, Iowa, sent this tree through Brock Burmeister's home in southern Minnesota, pitting the teen to the floor.
And, I was pretty shook up at the time and kind of sounded like a bad dream.
A close call in Portland, Michigan. People trapped inside a Goodwill store where a possible tornado touched down.
I had a huge beam miss me by just...
Most of the damage today was from what we call a derecho. That's a long-lived windstorm that puts down a swath of damage at least 250 miles.
It produced hurricane-like wind gusts, 72 miles per hour in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 95 in Sheldon, Iowa, and an astounding 122 miles per hour in Hays, South Dakota. As the storms pushed east, in its wake, a trail of destruction. And it's not over yet.
We could have tornadoes in Wisconsin and Iowa tonight. That will head east through Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland overnight, reform along the East Coast.
Millions tonight still in the storm's danger zone. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
Okay, so there wasn't as much terminology as I would have liked, but that's okay. You got to see that actually this one had winds of 75 miles per hour or more in some cases, right? Some gusts there. It did have hail, and it was producing tornadoes. The other thing that was interesting is that when they said that as this moves east, well, why would it move east, right? Well, if you think about the mid-latitude cyclones, they go from the west to the east, right? So it's following that trail.